When this shelter in place was first put into effect, I must admit, I was one of the ones not taking the pandemic seriously enough. I had pre-purchased tickets to Chicago to visit my friends for St. Patrick's Day, and I decided to go through with the trip because I had already requested the time off work. As soon as I got there, I regretted my decision, realizing that all of the parades had been canceled and restaurants and bars were being shut down. I spent the entirety of my trip in my friend's apartment. And then when I got home, I spent the next 2 weeks stressing about if I had contracted the virus on one of my flights and if I would then spread it to my higher risk parents as a result. A lot of people are choosing to travel right now because of the discounted airfares. However, they're not evaluating the risk of their decision before they leave. This House would ban all domestic flights in the United States until the end of the COVID-19 pandemic. I'd first like to start by defining a few terms for you. By domestic flights, I'm referring to all commercial airlines for passenger travel, meaning that transport of cargo within the United States would not be prohibited. By United States, I'm referring to flights between all 50 states, including interstate travel. And by the end of the pandemic, I'm referring to when the day-to-day change in reported cases is at 0% for at least 3 consecutive days. If you feel that the government would lead to the most lives being saved, then you must vote for the government. However, if you feel like the opposition would be saving the most lives, then you must vote for the opposition. The U.S.'s total number of cases is now over 1 million. Surpassing every other country in the world. Not only that, but because the number of cases is increasing so rapidly, we're having a difficult time even determining an accurate case count. This means that the pandemic in the United States could be much worse than we're even looking at right now. Daniel Weinberger, an epidemiologist from the Yale School of Public Health, stated that the reported U.S. death toll is probably a substantial underestimate of the true number by tens of thousands after annualizing death count data. This goes to show that the policies that we have in place just aren't enough, and we need to rethink our strategies before moving forward. If we don't take this drastic measure now, we'll likely see hundreds of thousands of deaths in the United States alone. Some states are prematurely deciding to relax their social distancing policies. This is increasing their projected death counts as a result. If they're then allowed to travel freely through the United States, then states that are maintaining their strict social distancing policies will be adversely affected as well. Georgia is an example of this, who's deciding to reopen everything from barbershops to nail salons to bowling alleys in the next few weeks. A model shared by the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention projected that this decision will increase the number of daily deaths by nearly double by August. Another thing to consider is that because there's a 2-week incubation period for COVID-19, people are taking advantage of these cheap flights before they even realize they have the virus. This not only puts every other passenger on the flight at risk, but also our flight attendants as well. Flight attendants need to continue working in order to survive. However, being in these confined spaces all day is putting them at risk. And if they do end up contracting it, then they're putting the passengers on all their flights afterwards at risk as well. The Washington Post cited a testimony from an anonymous flight attendant that stated, "I am 27 weeks pregnant and a flight attendant. On Sunday, I started coughing and had a sore throat. My body and chest aches, but I don't have a fever and I'm still breathing okay, so that's my only hope. I got tested yesterday for COVID-19 and I'm praying it comes back negative. So scared for my baby. What a difficult time to be pregnant and be a flight attendant." This is just one testimony showing how these flight attendants continuing to work in order to pay their rent every month is causing adverse health effects for them and their families, as well as these passengers. This plan would stop airlines from offering domestic flights until further notice. In return, the government would provide financial aid to the airlines with enough funds to provide paid leave to all their employees as well. The financing would come from the federal government itself, which would actually benefit these airlines compared to their current situation of continuing to operate during these difficult times. In a recent interview with the CEO of Southwest Airlines, Gary Kelly, he stated, "I can assure you, we're losing money on every single flight, and big money. So this can't be sustained indefinitely." The government would ensure that these airlines continue to follow these regulations, and in return, these airlines would be able to comfortably stop flights temporarily. If this plan was put into effect, the rate that COVID-19 is spreading would decrease, and the number of deaths would lower. If we all take these drastic measures now, then the pandemic will end sooner for all of us. I know as these shelter-in-place orders continue to be extended, we're all getting antsy as we stay in our houses for months on end. However, the sooner we all listen to these orders, the sooner our daily lives will go back to normal and our economy can begin to recover. It takes all of us to work together in order to end this pandemic. Thank you.